And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Film Box Podcast. I'm your host Aaron Souza, and I'm joined by the usual crew who definitely didn't record an episode last week and lose it. It's Connor and Sam. How you guys doing?
Howdy.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
No, not a clue. Not a clue.
It could not have been me.
No, I don't think so.
We did do an hour and a half recording that just we lost. So
Someone
sorry, we're here
lost.
today.
We're not pointing fingers.
No one's pointing fingers. But that just means we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. And, you know, that's great. I don't know where I'm going with that. But before we get into all that, today I got to talk about what we're doing today. It's review day. As you can see by the title, we're reviewing Challengers, the newest movie from Luca Guadagnino. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into all that, we got to talk about what we've been watching, and we got to do what are you guys drinking?
I just finished my my Shirley Temple, so
Nice.
Oh, dude, Shirley Temples are so good.
I haven't had a Shirley Temple in probably over 15 years. Like, I can say easily that long.
I had one recently from Trader Joe's in like a 6-pack. It's childhood coming back.
Was it like Joey's Temple?
It might have. I don't know. So
I don't know. I'm just making that up.
What was it? It's a Virgin Denzel, as Winston would say from New Girl.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Connor, what are you drinking?
Got orange electrolyte and water.
That's the dumbest name I've ever heard.
Yep, but your boy gets migraine, so he's got to make sure his electrolytes are up.
Nice. Well, I've got water, and also we're back on the train, baby. We got a Franny's. Let's go.
nope.
I play a ding because it's Franny's. I have a soundboard now, too.
What I meant to say is I also have a Franny's right here.
Hey, Franny's. Yeah, we got to do our 30 positive movies too while we're talking here. So, the one that we totally didn't do last week and is now this week's episode is a movie that we love from a genre we hate. And I'll kick it off because I have an answer that I couldn't remember what I said when we lost the recording, so I came up with a new answer, and I kind of like this answer better. So the genre I hate. You look upset over there, Connor. Is everything okay?
No, we're good. No, we're not losing this one.
All right. We're not losing recordings again. Okay,
Wait.
so a genre I hate is like car movies. I am not into car movies, like Fast and Furious and that kind of stuff. Oh, God.
What genre of
Laughing
movie do you
about?
hate? Cars.
Car.
If a movie has a car in
And
it, he's out.
well,
Cars?
like, you know.
Fuck off. Cars 2, double fuck off. Don't even get me started on Cars 3.
But I will say my favorite car movie. Cars is good, but Baby Driver I think is my favorite. Baby Driver is an excellent film
Oh, yeah.
with a problematic lead, but an excellent film.
Leads.
Well,
Couple people in that movie are personas
Yeah,
non
well.
grata.
It's all right. We talk about the movie, not the people. All right, who's going next?
I'll go.
go.
So a movie genre that I'm not a huge fan of, like I don't really go out of my way to watch, is like musical movies.
It hurts my heart.
There are a handful of them that I do like. It's just obviously not my go-to. But again, like, so mine move. Oh, where am I going with this? My favorite movie from the music.
I love
vamping
when
for
we just
himself.
lose track. We lose track of what we're saying
It's
when
been a
we're
long day
saying
at work.
it.
It's been a long day at work. Okay, so a good movie from the musical genre I have is La La Land and The Greatest Showman.
Well, did you finally watch La La Land? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I've seen La La
Oh,
Land before.
you've seen it? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Both good. Connor, what about you?
So I'm glad you have a soundboard because one of my least favorite genres, or maybe just one of the ones that I just haven't seen in a while. It's just like fantasy, adventure, and boys, I did something.
Wait, before you say it.
Unprompted, I watched the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh my!
of the
You already
Rings.
screwed that up.
I psyched myself out. I watched all the Lord of the Rings movies. So I would say Return of the King might be my favorite movie from a genre I do not really care about.
I love it. I'm so happy. We definitely didn't know about this a week ago.
Yeah.
But it's all right. No, it's great. I'm so excited. But yeah. Speaking of movies that we've watched, Connor, what have you watched recently? Because I know you probably have a fair few to run down.
Yeah, I went on a marathon. So since our last recording that was published, I have seen Draft Day, Problemista, Asphalt City, Challengers, John Q, The Idea of You, Ryman, Nothing
Nice.
Except Everything, a little short film. Then I watched one of the best trilogies ever made, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Rewatched Challengers. Hit up Mad Max Fury Road, which with Furiosa coming out,
Jeez.
we still got ways to go. But with Furiosa coming out, there's been some fun stories coming out about those
Yeah.
sets. I watched The Crow, with that one getting a remake coming this summer. Finally knocked off some of my film appreciation watch list. Watched Before Sunrise and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And I watched the aforementioned Lord of the Rings trilogy. Quite good movies. But then I went back. I wanted to go back for some of that ape action. So I watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Review coming soon.
Not by me.
Wait, who's responsible for that one?
Samuel.
I am.
Oh, I thought it was you.
Oh, no. I thought so too. That's why I was like, well, hey,
I mean, if you want it, you can take it.
I was gonna say if you want it, you can take it. I don't give a shit.
I just wanted to watch
We're
a movie.
changing it around live on pod.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. No, I was in the ape mood. I wanted to watch more monkeys, and I was not disappointed.
There you go.
But then I rewatched Before Sunrise with my girlfriend Erin because, fun fact, so the end of that movie, spoiler, as they're about to get on the train to never see each other again, they're saying, oh, we need to see each other 6 months from the previous night, which was June 16th, which is Erin's birthday.
Whoa!
And
that's
also,
cool.
that would be our 9 months. So, round of applause for us and her.
Yes.
But those are all the movies I've watched. It was a doozy.
Jeez. Yeah. What did Erin think about Before Sunrise?
She loved it.
Yeah.
We're going on vacation together, so we're gonna download Before Sunset and Before Midnight for the way there and back.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to love those.
Yeah, they're just as good. Cool. Well, I'll go next, Sam, unless you want to.
I don't care.
All right. So I was on vacation. So while on vacation, I watched Oppenheimer. I showed my parents Oppenheimer for the first time. Watched Challengers in a theater that was totally empty at noon on a Sunday, which was very strange. Em and I were the only ones in the theater for Challengers. Watched 500 Days of Summer. Showed my parents Dune for the first time, so that's now the 4th time in the last year I've watched Dune, which is nothing like that guy on Twitter, but I think it's pretty good. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. No. Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. And then I wanted to dip my fingies into the apes. Nope.
Whoa.
Nope. Sorry. The words came out and I immediately didn't like
Apparently,
it.
that's not the only thing that came out.
Look, all right. While I was on vacation, there was a lot of the Dr. Pol show, the vet show on. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but apparently this dude's initial diagnosis technique is to reach into whatever animal's asshole he's got available and pull out some shit and say, "Yep, this is good shit."
Sam, what do you know about that?
I saw a lot of it. I saw a lot of arms and animals. And then I started. I'm starting a brand new thing.
Ooh.
So if you're not on Letterboxd, then you should be. But if you are on Letterboxd, you would know that there's this thing called the Letterboxd Top 250, in which they have the top 250 highest rated films by users. So I have started a challenge where I am going to be watching every single movie on the Letterboxd Top 250 and rating them. Doing like a random generator to figure out what my next movie is. So the first movie I randomly generated a number was Casablanca.
Oh,
Which I had never seen before, so that was a great start. And I watched it and I loved it, and it was a 5-star.
good. I love Casablanca.
So the next movie I've got on my list, hold please, hold for applause. I know it's an Akira Kurosawa film. It is Throne of Blood from Akira Kurosawa. That's my next film. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I'm going to be starting that. I also kind of want to do like TikToks about each movie and see how that goes. But we'll see. I'm probably going to try and record something like that. But yeah, so that's what I've seen. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention Rise and Dawn. I just said that I was in Apes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were talking about fingering apes, and you never finished your thought there.
Yeah, it was Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that I've seen. Okay, now I'm done.
All right, I'm going now. So I've seen The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Poor Things, Boy Kills World, Now You See Me Too, The Fall Guy, The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, and it looks like I was also with some apes. So I've seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
What are you guys' thoughts on them? Because my timeline on Twitter is only apes right now.
Yeah. I had never seen them before. I liked Rise. Dawn was way better.
Yeah, I agree.
That's that Matt Reeves touch right there.
You
could tell. It was cool.
I've never seen the originals from like the 70s.
Same.
I want to. I've only heard like the original, like from like, was it 1968 or something like that, is like good, and then the rest like suck. but I've seen Rise a couple times, but I've never seen Dawn or War. So,
You know what's
I was a
funny?
little bit late on the train.
Nice.
Since you guys have also recently seen them, do you guys remember what James Franco's name is in the first movie?
Will.
Well,
Well,
okay.
yeah.
Because I saw a tweet that was like, basically, it was like showing one of the new monkeys. And the tweet said, like, all this started because James Franco wanted to cure Alzheimer's. And someone quoted that saying, I have no idea what James Franco's name was in the movie that started this all off. I've only referred to him as James Franco.
Yeah.
I had no idea
I
what
can
it
see
was.
that.
It's a fair point.
They didn't. I don't think they said his name a lot. In the
Not
movie.
often.
It wasn't in a ton. But anyways, let's rock and roll into our. Does anyone have anything else before we roll into the review?
I mean, I have a couple reviews, like Google reviews.
Well, yeah, we'll do that once. That's part of the whole process.
Okay. Well, you just said when we roll into the review, so
Yeah, well, the whole review process includes, the going through because I got all the background stuff.
yeah. I'm
Stuff like that. Anyways, before we rock into this, I do have one interesting anecdote about challengers. And it's that my boss has a friend who was in the movie
Really?
and had a prominent, like an actual legitimate role in the movie. And I know you guys will remember it. So the scene towards it's in like the first 15 minutes of the movie. The scene where Josh O'Connor's character, Patrick, is trying to check into a motel and he has no money. The gay couple that comes in,
yeah.
my boss is friends with one of them, and that's her friend and his husband. Actually, they're
that's
not
kinda
actors. They're not actors at all. They're they just brought in them, and they were awesome.
I did. We'll get to it in the review, but I did.
Yes.
Their 1 second of fame was taken advantage of.
Yes. But anyways, I had to throw that anecdote out there because that was really kind of cool. All right, I think we're ready. So I got a little sound cue for us for this. All right, let's roll into the review. All right, review time.
This movie has a very iconic score. You couldn't have just ripped a bit of that?
Nope, dude. So, Challengers released April 26th, 2024. Initially supposed to release in September 23, but was delayed due to the actors' strike. Directed by Luca Guadagnino, written by Justin Kuritzkis, starring Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Faist, with cinematography by Soyumbu Mukdipram, and music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So, a couple of these names you should know. Luca Guadagnino, famous for movies like Bones and All, A Bigger Splash, a little movie called Call Me By Your Name, which not many people have heard of.
I think we were the first to talk about it ever.
Yeah, honestly. Also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this makes Luca Guadagnino the first director to appear twice on a Filmbox review. Because we did, in fact, review Call Me By Your Name.
That is true.
Yep.
Unsubstantiated. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it is.
Some are saying.
Justin Kuritzkis is a first-time writer. Challengers was his first screenplay, although he is a prominent playwright. So he's writing experience, but this was his first actual film. He also wrote Queer, which is the newest Luca Guadagnino film coming out this year as well. And also, quick note, married to Celine Song.
Yes.
Didn't know that. Pretty cool.
It's funny thinking that you have Challenger's and Challenger's husband, past lives wife.
Yeah, literally.
I think they're trying to say something.
Yeah. And then also Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails fame did the score here with Atticus Ross, who also who works frequently with Trent Reznor and did the score for The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Pixar's Soul. So they've done a lot together. And Sayambu Mukdipram also works with Luca Guadagnino, did Call Me By Your Name and Suspiria. And then he also did 13 Lives, the Ron Howard film from 2022, which was pretty cool. But hasn't done a whole lot else for English language films. Mainly does like Thai films, it looks like. So, yeah. Sam, do you have some reviews?
I do.
Okay, hold on. Before you do that. Okay, review time.
All right. So let's see. Rotten Tomatoes like this movie. It has a 88% currently, with a 73% audience score. Google reviews, however, is a 2.7 out of 5.
Whoa!
There are more
2.7?
There are more 1-star reviews than 5-star reviews on Google.
Oh my goodness!
So it's a big toss-up movie. But there's just a couple. I got a 5-star review and a 1-star review on Google. So this one says, I just watched Challengers yesterday, which is going to be the movie of the year, and I must say Zendaya is an absolute vision in this film. Her beauty radiates through the entire film, making it a true masterpiece, and her ability to transfer that into tennis, making it a completely different game, is an absolute talent. Her captivating smile, striking features, and effortless charms had me memorized. This film truly made me want to keep playing tennis for decades. Zendaya has inspired me so much. Her characters, Tashi, determination, and passion are inspiring. She makes this movie shine.
Jesus, this guy, whoever wrote this, not to like slam on this person, but man, really wants to deep throat Zendaya. It's like, Zendaya was perfect. Zendaya was the best. I watched Zendaya. I swear to God, I ascended into heaven.
And then, yeah, exactly. So I was trying to find a one. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'll give him this. After seeing this movie, I have played tennis more times in the past, like, couple weeks than I have, like, since high school. Because I used to play tennis. Incredible. As did you.
I did too.
Yeah.
We should play tennis.
Absolutely.
Wink, wink.
So, and then
There's
I found
three
a
of us
review
here,
that,
so.
yeah.
Oh.
I
Sorry.
found a review that did not like Zendaya as much.
Oh.
So this one says, I've never quite understood the Zendaya fan train people have hopped aboard. At some point, I think if we see enough of someone, there's this unspoken social consensus that the person must be visible for a reason and deserves to be seen more and more. Merit-based performances seem to take a backseat to casting, and it's partly why I've been waiting to see something different that didn't look the same from her every role. Moody, smarter than everyone else, and desired by everyone. It's just rinse and repeat, and she somehow becomes bigger with every new film. And I've never understood why, other than she keeps getting roles. However, I can say that this role works. She's perfectly landed into character that manifests this image into something that just plain complicated. And you want to see what decisions she makes. So, I guess I liked her performance finally, ? Anyways, my issue with the film isn't with her at all. Really.
Oh, okay. Okay. So everything this guy just said, just throw it out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Really, the music.
Anyways, I just wrote 6.5 paragraphs on why I fucking hate Zendaya, but she wasn't the worst part of this movie. I'll tell you what, right now.
Really, the music and editing were abysmal. Both timing and consideration for an audience were completely overlooked, and I was left asking myself the same question over and over: why is there weird music playing? Why is there weird music still playing? Does anyone really understand? Does anyone really understood when not to use slow motion?
When and when?
Yeah, that's what it says. When and when.
Does anyone understand when and when and when and when and when?
All in all, it's rough, guys. I was taken out of the movie repeatedly and then drawn back in with my now complicated relationship with Zendaya, apparently.
What is this review?
I don't know.
I always love when reviews end with all in all as well. I just think it's my favorite thing in the world.
All in all.
All in all, I never wrote past the high school level. No, yeah, that's something. Connor, are you ready to bring us through the movie?
I'm as good as I'll ever be.
Yeah, you've been furiously note-taking over there.
Yeah, we decided, because, again, I'll be going away, so this was not a last minute because we all had to see the movie, but I haven't had time to jot notes down.
That's all right.
So,
well, we'll run through the movie here right after my transition gets us there.
all right, cool.
All right, Connor, why don't you take us through the movie?
So, first things first, before we start this movie is told in a non-linear structure, meaning it just cuts back and forth to the past. Sam actually loves this type of storytelling. But so I just want to give you a little heads up that I'm probably just going to tell this linearly because it's kind of how it goes anyway. It's just kind of intercut with present day tennis match. So obviously we start with the tennis match itself. But back in 2006, high schoolers and childhood best friends Patrick Svei and Art Donaldson win the boys junior doubles title at the U.S. Open. Mouthful right there. Afterwards, they meet Tashi Duncan, a highly lauded young tennis prospect to whom Patrick and Art are both attracted to. The three meet in a hotel room later that night. While talking, Tashi describes her passion for tennis and the relationship between the players represented in their rallies. As you've seen, there's a lot of tennis to sex comparisons made.
Yes.
In the ensuing encounter, the two boys kiss both Tashi and each other. But Tashi ends the tryst before it escalates to sex. With Patrick and Art playing each other in the junior singles final the next day, Tashi says she will give her phone number to whichever player wins. Patrick wins the match and later signals to Art that he had sex with Tashi by placing the ball in the neck of his racket prior to serving, which is something that Art has a habit of doing. Demonstrated by my shirt, which you cannot see, but the boys here can.
No, you can see it now. We're on video. What do you think? What do you take us for?
Your mooks.
Anyways, okay. So, this was I liked the opening. I liked the when we first see Patrick and Art, like they are already friends. Like,
love it.
It's established right away. Even though the movie opens with them
Rivals.
obviously not liking each other, it's cool. I like that you could see right away, like, okay, something happened and we're gonna find out what, but something happened here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think the first flashback of them as like the teenagers is maybe one of my favorite parts. I mean, I liked all of this movie, but I definitely like seeing them younger. I like seeing that friendship, how strong it was. You kind of saw signs of them maybe being a little more than friends. The way that they embraced after they won their doubles match, and the story of Patrick teaching Art how to masturbate.
That was wild.
Yeah.
This movie, man, if there's a movie that's horny, this is it. Like, this is probably the horniest movie I've seen in a while. And I saw Poor Things.
I think Poor Things still gets the edge for obvious reasons.
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
No. Challengers gets the edge because we never go over the top.
Listen, there's a lot of edging in this movie.
The whole movie is one big edge session. God.
What do you think, Sam?
Just silent. Everyone just silent.
I don't want to linger on that.
No, for me. It was it started off with the present day match. So I was kind of confused on like who. It was kind of, for me, it was kind of confusing because he was watching his previous match, but then it cut back to the present day match, and I don't know. I was a little confused. I was a little confused in the beginning when, like, all right, so like, which match is taking place when, kind of thing like that. When they were in like in their hotel room, I'm always like, is that after the match or before? So
there was a lot of the time jumps. Like, there were a lot. Even for a movie that goes back and forth in time, like, I can get behind that.
Oh yeah, me too.
In this movie, there was a lot of time jumps.
It literally, like, I was gonna say, like, I don't mind a good time jump movie here and there, but like every other freaking scene, almost not really, but
It's pretty much
I just
what
kind
it
of
was.
rolled my eyes. I kind of just rolled my eyes every time it said, oh, 13 years earlier. Oh, 12 years earlier.
10 years later, 4 years later, 3 years earlier. It was literally like, bop, 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 bop. It's like,
I think, because I saw this movie twice, I think it's a lot better to digest when you have seen it once and you kind of get that whiplash out of the way. Because then you see it as, like, how I ended up seeing it is this movie is taking place, because it starts in 2006 when they're teenagers. That's when the movie starts for me, and it just briefly cuts to them in real life up until the end when that's the only focus of the movie.
yeah, I mean, I liked it more than Sam did, it seems like, but it's still, like, there were times where it was like, okay, did we really need to jump this many times in a 5-minute span or like a 10-minute span?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of that too. And then on the flip side, there were scenes that just lingered. It just felt like we were just sitting there for a little too long.
I think
the Nike party was partly of that.
That part, and when what's it? Patrick goes to visit Tashi and the at school.
Oh, yep.
Like bedroom and kind of stuff like that. That was kind of like bloated.
Yeah. So, because I don't know. It's like a lot of the things. I feel like it would just would be better if they told it without a cut to the present. Because how the story goes is we get their juniors tournament, the Nike party, the hotel room where they kiss, and it's left to be unknown like who won their match and got Tashi's number. And then we get a little flash forward that just shows that I think it was Patrick winning a point, and then immediately cuts back to show that Patrick won.
Yeah. It's stuff like that where it's like, okay, well, I don't mind the skipping forward and back. I like that duality of it because it really plays like a tennis match in the time jumps. But there's too much there where it's like, okay, well, we didn't have to jump all the way forward to jump back a little bit to then jump all the way forward to then jump back even further to go ahead a little bit to then jump back a little. And it's like, oh my God. But I will say I guess I'll put it out there right now. The tennis in this movie,
So good.
phenomenal.
So good.
It's shot so well.
One thing I did have.
And we'll get. Go ahead.
The one thing I did have was the grunts that Art made.
So good.
Not good.
Brother,
So
that's
good.
tennis.
That was annoying.
Have you listened to tennis? Have you listened to any guy play or anyone play tennis? Like,
You know what's, it's funny because I was just like, me and Erin, my girlfriend, were playing the other, like literally last night, and I was saying a backhand, and I accidentally like let out a grunt. I was like, damn, I didn't even hit it that hard.
It felt good, didn't it?
It's like that was primal.
Yeah.
No, but I do agree that the tennis was well done, and especially in this final scene with like the POV of being the ball, kind of.
That was cool. Yeah, we'll definitely get to that part because that was where it really took a step forward for me.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to move to the next scene?
Yep. All right. So then Tashi and Art go on to play college tennis at Stanford, while Patrick turns pro and begins a long-distance relationship with Tashi. Wow. As said before, that he did win the match.
Yeah.
Patrick goes to visit them at Stanford, and Art kind of starts sowing seeds that their relationship is not as good as they might think, saying that Patrick doesn't love Tashi, and Tashi is not taking the relationship seriously. This leads to a fight between Patrick and Tashi as they're having sex. She gives him unsolicited tennis advice, and he says that he views her as a peer, not a coach. So he leaves. She has her match, and this is where she has a very serious career-ending knee injury. Art is there to help her, and when Patrick comes back to comfort her and apologize, they both tell him to get the fuck out. Art, real quick, Art tries to help her,
ahead.
but her tennis career is over.
Yeah, she can't recover.
Yeah.
This was all the stuff at Stanford was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Again, watching it a second time, knowing like the relationships between not just Tashi and the boys, but Patrick and Art themselves. Hell yeah. Like a lot of the mannerisms between them. Mm-hmm. So well done.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of subtlety to it. The churro scene is great.
Oh, the churro scene's getting so much play on TikTok.
Yeah. He's just sucking him off. He's just sucking off his churro.
Apparently.
But
There's that scene ends with like Art like tripping Patrick just like joyfully or like friendfully. And in like a behind the scenes, like a part of the press tour, Josh O'Connor was like, yeah, Mike was like a little bit of a bully. Like that was a serious trip. Like obviously he was joking around, but he was like, yeah, he was being so mean to me.
yeah. I'll say here, I am so happy. Well, one, everyone in this movie was good. Mm-hmm. Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, Mike Faist, excellent. But I am so happy that Mike Faist is getting the spotlight.
Dude.
Because, my God, is he good.
Those cheeks? Are you kidding me?
Oh. Dude, I'm not gay, but if I was...
That's now twice you've said this on this show. That exact phrase.
For Mike? Or
No. I think you said Ryan Gosling too. You... Sam likes to go back and find clips. I think, choice. Sam, that's one you gotta find.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of doing that, so.
He's finding it now. Yeah, no, look, Mike Faist is incredibly talented. I've seen a few of his movies now. I can't wait to see the Bike Riders. I'm so happy that he's getting like actual leading man time because he deserves it. And I'm here for the career success. Mm-hmm. That said, like I said, this is my favorite part of the movie. But this is where I'll say the music I'm not about.
See, I like.
So I have
Go, Sam.
okay. I have a mixed feelings about the music, right? I'm all for techno and EDM and stuff like that. I listen to it at the gym and stuff like that. It did not fit in this movie at all.
I disagree.
Yeah, I agree. I
It
honestly
did
agree.
not fit in this movie at all.
My only problem.
It was a good score, but not in this movie.
My only problem is sometimes it would come in way too soon and way too loud. Like there'd be a scene of like I get it, it's trying to prep you for like the transition to the next scene, but there's still people talking and you just can't hear them anymore. That's kind of happened a couple times.
I don't know. I feel like it tried too hard.
I think
It could have it could have been just as good if it was just your regular cinematic like score,
Or not only
like
that,
orchestral
or like
score.
if it showed up one time at like the final tennis match or something like that, then it would have worked or whatever. Like if it was just like a reoccurring thing throughout the movie.
It felt like there were scenes where the vibe didn't match the techno. I think is my biggest complaint.
I agree with that.
And not that it was like it couldn't be used, but like scenes where like here's a really serious scene that's like, I think, did it play, Connor, you've seen it twice, did it play during the Patrick and Tashi sex scene? Was there techno towards the end of that?
I think so.
I feel like
when he was leaving, or maybe it was like in the beginning. But I liked it because it's supposed to like, it's like it's not a high energy scene, seeing like, you know, two people just making out, but like the emotions are like kind of high paced right now.
Yeah, I maybe it's just that I'm not a big techno guy.
Me neither.
I felt like it would have been better with other stuff.
Yeah, I am a big techno guy, and I didn't really.
I
just didn't think it would worked.
If they saved it for just the tennis scenes, I think you guys would have liked it a lot more.
I agree.
Maybe that's what it needed.
I agree.
Yeah, because like I said, there were like serious scenes that get intercut with techno that I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
But the tennis for sure
was awesome. I'm just gonna say it. Art kind of sucks in this scene, in this bunch. Like him trying to break up his friend's relationship because he's jealous. Kind of a dick move. I know, like the whole movie tries to set it up as like, no, Art's good. He's got the girl. He's the pro he's like one win away from a grand slam. But like Patrick did nothing wrong. He was loyal, living out his dream.
He was a dick. He was
kind of a dick. I was gonna say he was
a playful dick.
Well, I mean, Tashi was a
Zendaya was playing with his dick.
Yes,
well, I wasn't going to say that, but
Art almost did.
Art was playing probably.
Well, no, Patrick was playing with Art's dick. Remember that scene? After the makeout scene, Art stands. I'm just gonna keep getting their names mixed up, but he's just full boner.
It's so funny.
And
we saw that.
Just
Em looked at me like,
no, that was. It was fun seeing it with my girlfriend Erin too, because when they started kissing, she was like, "Oh,"
yeah,
and then the boner scene, she was like, "Oh."
But yeah, speaking of scenes that make you go, the scene in this section of the movie, the sex scene that's not explicit, which I appreciate. But my God,
gets close.
It was hot. Like Em and I, when we watched it, we both looked at each other like we were like, whoa. But it was intense, and I love that too, because I love how like Luca Guadagnino wove together how intense these people are as athletes and competitors, and like you can see that in everything they do. Whether it be just conversationally, on the court, in the bedroom, everything is intense. And that scene especially was like intense.
Mm-hmm. I like that their argument is like so true to both of their characters. because Patrick, a little cocky. You know, he was saying like, oh, he doesn't have to worry, he doesn't have to stretch, he doesn't need Tashi's advice on how to, you know, win his matches because he was doing well for himself. But also, Tashi, like mid-sex, was like, you know, if you had gone to your forehand more often, I think you would have won in less sets. And he was like, are we still talking about tennis right now?
Yeah.
Like, her thing is...
He's totally not into it.
Like, her thing is she is tennis-minded. Everything is like a game of tennis to her. And I think that shows with how she, like, kind of treats both of these men.
Yeah, and that makes it even more brutal when the injury happens.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, was a brutal, like, God, made me, like...
Cringe.
Cringe, yeah, that hurt. You could tell it hurt.
Well, I think it hurt more for, I don't know about you guys, but for me, because, like, we've all played high school sports, and, like, I've played college sports, and I think, like, you know that a season or career ending injury is terrible. So I think it was. Yeah. I think we can. I at least I connected to it a little bit more.
For sure.
So
for sure.
I don't know what I would have done if I had that kind of an injury in my sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, even just like the idea of like ending sports in general is like that's tough to wrestle with, and we none of us were ever at a point where we could be doing this like successfully for a living. But the idea of like stopping playing it still sucks.
I think not to jump ahead, but between Art and Tashi in a later scene, he's like, I'm not going to be one of those like 40-year-olds who doesn't know when to hang it up. Like, I'm going out on my own terms, which, like, I don't know about you guys. Every sport I played, I decided to quit. I didn't have any sort of injury that was like, I could try to push through it, but I just won't enjoy it as much. I think there's something about that stands out.
It's honorable.
Yeah.
It's honorable. All right. Next scene.
Next bit. All right. So it's a few years later. Tashi reconnects with Art and becomes his coach, with the two also beginning a romantic relationship. He reveals that he and Patrick have not spoken since Tashi's injury. A couple years later, Tashi and Art are now engaged, and his career is on the uptick. They're at the Atlanta Open, where Tashi and Patrick run into each other, and they have a one-night stand, which Art notices. Flash. Now we're back to the present. So, just to set the scene of where we're at. So, Tashi, Art, they're a power couple. They're like the tennis moguls. Billboards, the whole shebang. They have a daughter. But Art has been struggling in his career. He's on a losing streak, but he's one title away from a Grand Slam. So Tashi enters him into this challenger event. Very low level competition, try to get his confidence back. But Patrick is also there because he's been an unknown player after, I guess, his career fizzled out. And he's just been getting by winning lower level tournaments. You want to, I guess, do you want to keep going or?
Yeah. No, let's stop there.
Okay.
This is where I can see how Art is not, like, throughout this movie, you can tell that Tashi's not a great person. Patrick's not a great person. But this is really this, and like kind of a little bit the scene the bit before, but for me, this is where like I can see that Art was like waiting for his turn for a long time. Like this is what he wanted for ever since they met.
Yeah.
And so now he's finally taking advantage. And it's like, oh, okay, well, none of them are really totally great people. that whole restaurant scene, I could just see like him
Planted.
being like under the surface scheming and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think it goes to the first when they're teenagers and they go to watch Tashi play. Art talks about her like, oh, she's such a phenomenal tennis player. Like, I would love to talk to her about how she handles like a set. And Patrick's like, I would let her peg me with a racket. Like, he has always seen her as like an object, not even an object.
Yeah.
He's always seen her as like a woman first and a tennis player second. Where Art or Patrick, yes, treats her as both, I guess, at the same time. A tennis player first, probably, and then a woman second.
You should just call him. You should just start calling him Blondie and Beardy.
Cuck and
Blondie and
Cuck and
Beardy.
Big Dick.
Fake dick.
Art's packing.
Apparently, so is Patrick.
That boner. Yeah, well,
A couple penises in this movie as well. Forgot to mention it. Probably
yeah,
equal
but
amount
none of the main cast.
to your chagrin. None of the main cast.
Yeah.
Just some randos.
Shucks.
That was unneeded too. Like, come on.
That was a little much. I was like, wow, he really went for it, huh?
I get the purpose of the scene is to be like, oh, Patrick's bisexual, but
he had him swiping on Tinder, which is
exactly that's fine.
enough.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to see
Kind
him
of like
like
it was kind of like in Call Me by Your Name, and maybe this is just a Luca thing. Whereas like Call Me by Your Name,
the peach scene,
famously about
or the pear scene.
famously about gay people, a gay couple has tits, just a full on like male female sex scene in Call Me by Your Name, unrelated to the rest of the story. Well, related, but like, you know, here we have a whole bunch of dicks that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
This one was for Luca.
This one's for me.
I gave you guys one. This one's for me.
Oh man, I do like the present day stuff. I like it's obvious here, and it was obvious to me from the first scene because a lot of the modern day stuff is sprinkled in throughout the movie, and like it was obvious from the first scene that Tashi is like her life is Art's tennis career. That's her life because she lost hers.
Yeah.
So everything that she does is so that she can live vicariously through his tennis career. Maybe something that we'll kind of talk about later in the review, I'm sure. But like that is the deciding factor for everything she does. Is what is good for this so that I can know how it feels.
I think it's interesting that the movie opens up with like the present day, but like showing them like before they enter the Challenger. You can already see that this is not a good relationship. This is like a business partnership. Like,
and
he does not look happy.
He doesn't look happy.
Well, Art wants it to be more.
Exactly. I think he's probably tired of like everything is okay. Here's how you can improve your game. Like, because he doesn't talk to her until like 5 minutes in to like their scenes together.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
I noticed that
was
too.
my
Like
favorite.
He did not say one word, and I'm like, I actually like that a lot.
Exactly.
There was like minimal dialogue in that first scene, and I was like, oh my god, you see everything just from their faces and their body language. Like you know how this relationship has gone for the last 10 years based on the body language of those people.
That's why I think it's interesting to put that first before we see how like Art like was in love with her, like cherished her. Because I think, especially, it's a very small part, but like him muting the TV that she's watching when he's talking about like his game, just to sit down and look kind of like could you something else? Yeah.
Yeah, right. Can we not do tennis for 5 minutes? But yeah, no. I love that and how we see more of that unfold. I didn't like the one night stand. I get it for the characterization of these people. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was necessary. That one was necessary.
Well, yeah, I think I have a problem with the whole thing too. Like, I maybe it was, I don't know, but you see Art and Patrick grow up together for how long and be such close friends, and like for one girl to like tear that apart, and to now them going behind their, like, Patrick going behind his like back to, like, he knows that she's married kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Or engaged or whatever, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tough.
I think they could have done a better job of saying that, because this is at like a different tennis event. I think they could have done a better job of saying why Patrick's there, because in the movie he just shows up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know, like, you don't know that he's still a competitor, because it kind of just, he's literally wearing this shirt that he walked out of her like college dorm with. You could have told me that he was like a homeless bum and that was like the last piece of clothing he had. But I liked it because it established that even though she's with Art, there is still something that draws her to Patrick. That's something she's not getting from Art, it would appear.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Yeah, let's go to the next. I mean, we've really only got like
at the ending now, pretty much.
The one section left, yeah.
All right. So, obviously by luck of the draw, they end up facing off against each other in the finals. Art and Patrick do. But the day before the match, Patrick attempts to reconnect with Art in a sauna, but Art rejects Patrick, kind of just like rubbing his face in the fact that his career went nowhere and Art's going to be remembered in tennis history.
Rubbing the face in that dick too.
Honestly, I can keep going, but I just want to say this now. I love that scene is shot with Patrick walking into the sauna, dick out, trying to like big dog Art, like, yeah, man, I'm still here, you know, this dick well, because it was also this scene where they revealed that Patrick and Tashi had an affair. But I do love how like shriveled he looks when he realizes that Art just kind of like bodies him.
Yeah, Art's just like better,
because I think this is the effects of their relationship, because Patrick, like, the look on his face, he is genuinely wanting to talk to his friend, and I think just being with Tashi, he is full tennis brain. Like, he's like,
well, not only that, but at this point too, Patrick knows about, or Art knows about the Atlanta Open, the one night stand, the cheating.
Yeah.
So to me, in my mind, like, if it were me and I was Art in that scenario, like, I want nothing to do with this dude. Yeah, he might have been my friend once.
Yeah.
But he went out and fucked my wife.
Fiance.
I mean, I wouldn't want to talk to my wife either, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different story. We'll talk about that. But, you know, it's like I at that point, like, one, I've been successful for years. I have a good career. I have a family. And I know this person has done things behind my back that would warrant me punching him in the face. I want nothing to do with him. So I get that point of view, as Art's point of view as well here.
Yeah. I just like that, Patrick saying like, man, I miss playing doubles with you. Like, just trying to be like, hey man, remember like the good old days? And Art's just like, no. You are so far beneath me. I can't even do this to pity you.
Oh God.
But I genuinely felt sad for him in that moment, even after just seeing him like cuck Art. I was like, oh, look how sad he looks. He just wants his friend back, or maybe some more.
But also, you got to think too, how much of that is motivated by the fact that he knows his career is basically over and Art is like everything he wanted to be. Like, how much of that comes from jealousy too? Like, I think a fair amount of that. Like, if the roles were switched and Patrick was the successful one and Art was the one who struggled, I don't think Patrick would have given him the light of day. Like, I honestly don't think he would have even ever acknowledged Art's existence.
Well, here's the thing, though. And I think one of the recurring themes is that Patrick loves Art. Like, I do think there is, like, that bond that's deeper than friendship between, at least in his mind, him and Art. I think if the roles were reversed, I do think he probably would have accepted Art back.
Interesting.
But anywho,
Yes.
sensing that Tashi is unhappy with Art and Art is tired of playing, Patrick asks Tashi to be his coach for one last winning season, but she rejects him. However, she does take his number. The night before the final, Art tells Tashi that he wants to retire at the end of the season, whether he wins or not, saying he's tired, but he also knows that Tashi is vicariously living out her tennis career through him. She responds with coldness, which makes Art beg on his knees for reassurance that she will still love him if, like, he can't play tennis or if he loses to Patrick. Very half-heartedly, he's like, yes. But, like, Art knows that's not true. She does tell him if he loses, she will leave him. Which just so many defeated men in this movie. The him dropping his head on the bed after that. Man, pour one out.
Sad.
Tashi calls up Patrick in the middle of the night, asking him to throw the match to Art because she thinks that that's the only way that this will continue, or Patrick's career will continue.
Art's career.
Okay, I'm gonna do a
Blondie.
Yeah,
Blondie, there you go.
is gonna, his career will extend, but Brunette,
Beardy.
yeah, Beardy, at first declines, but then he accepts because Tashi's like, I will literally have sex with you if you lose to him tomorrow, which he does. She fucks Beardy one last time the night before he's facing off against her man. When she comes back inside to her hotel, she sees that Art is sleeping in their daughter's room, knowing that she snuck out. So now we're at the big final match. If you guys want to stop or keep going.
Let's just
Roll
run it
through
through
the
because there's not going to be a ton to talk about.
Yeah, so throughout the film, we've seen the intercuts of this match leading up to this. It's the final set. Patrick starts to throw the match by taking double faults, which, if you don't know tennis, just means he's intentionally, like, serving out of bounds and to lose points. However, instead of going for that kill shot to himself, he brings back Art's tick, putting the ball in the neck of the racket to tell him, like, hey, I fucked Tashi. To which he wins that point, and Art gives him the old fuck you. But Art lets them get tied up to get to a final tiebreak. And here's some of the best tennis in the entire movie.
Oh my god.
It's an intense rally. Like you guys were referring to, there's a shot where we are the ball just getting hit back and forth. But Patrick sends up a volley, which they both jump for, but Art jumps over the net into Patrick. They embrace, ending their rivalry. And from the stands, Tashi erupts in applause as she is now satisfied with the relationship and finally got to witness a good fucking tennis match, which she had said she wanted.
Boy, I have a lot of feelings about the ending to this movie.
I also have a lot of feelings about the ending.
Listen, I'm just gonna say it first before you guys. Loved it. I liked it a lot.
I initially had a visceral negative reaction, especially to Tashi cheating.
Yes.
But I realized after I thought about it for a long time that the reason I hated it is because it's so against me as a person and my morals that like seeing that was like viscerally disgusting. But when I took a step back from myself and saw it in the lens of the film, I got it.
Yeah.
I really loved it for the story, but I hated it for how it made me feel.
I was when she went like sneaks out to like texts and stuff like that. I honestly thought she was gonna text them being like, "Don't ever talk to me again," kind of thing like that, and like completely blow him off. Maybe have a change of heart or something like that. Like she actually decides to like, no matter what, I'll stay with her. Like I thought that was kind of gonna happen, but obviously it didn't. So
yeah, I think
like I think he wanted us to think. That's that's another thing I had with this movie. It was kind of predictable. In certain spots like that. I don't know.
Interesting. Well, I like the scene of like when Art's telling Tashi like I'm done, like I can't keep doing this. And you see
It was vulnerable.
it was so vulnerable, and she did not care one bit. I think her heart broke for like the wrong reasons. It was not like this man who like helped me try to recover, gave me the opportunity to be involved in the game of tennis, is deciding on his own terms to end it. I am proud of him. I love him. I support him. It was fuck. I no longer have like a direct into tennis anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's literally, I mean, I know that they say explicitly that tennis is like a relationship in this movie. And really, Tashi's true relationship is with tennis.
And I think Art realizes that.
So
too,
the way
in that scene.
Well, not only that, but like the way I saw it, it reminded me of going through a breakup, but staying connected with the person. Because like when you do that and you go through a breakup, you have that heartbreak, but then you stay connected to that person, you know, you stay friends, and then that person leaves your life a second time. It's like going through that breakup all over again. And you never gave yourself time to recover. You never gave yourself time to move on. That's exactly what happened to Tashi with tennis. She was flying high in this relationship, and then all of a sudden it was over, but she never gave herself time to accept it and come to terms with it and move on. All she did was move right on into the next thing, started coaching Art, and latched onto his success. So when that happened, that was her second breakup. And it was like, now she's lost, but now she knows that Patrick's here and he wants her. And so she's like, I can get that back. I can get that feeling back.
I think it's forecasted very well in that first cafeteria scene at Stanford, when Patrick or Art tells Tashi Patrick doesn't love her, like, again, sowing the seeds that their relationship is not built on anything solid, and she just turns around and says, "Why do you think I want to be loved?" And I think ultimately that is just her theme throughout the entire movie. When Art wants her, like, needs like that wife, she's like, I did not want this.
Which makes me have even more of a problem with how I felt about the ending, because like Tashi has they're family. They have a kid, they have a daughter, and they are a family. That is like, that's a big deal. Like, that's just not something you can throw away like a bad breakup. Like, you have a family with this person, and you're in the public light. I that was tough for me to get through. Go understand.
Reading
that.
between the lines in the relationship, do you think that was not to appease Art, but do you think it was like listen, he wants to marry me, he wants to have kids, as long as it doesn't mess up his career, I'm okay with this? Because she really, I don't want to make accusations. It doesn't look like she has a great relationship with her daughter. I think it's her mother-in-law, or Art's mom, is more like the babysitter, the nanny, spending like all of the time with the daughter.
Mm-hmm. It seems like it, yeah.
Also, shout out the Spider-Verse reference.
I think that
First time I saw it, I was like, I want to watch Spider-Verse. I'll go.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. But then we get to the actual tennis match. Well, we see them have sex. That was wild. And I love the little play that they're like, oh, Art knows that she's left. Like he's aware that she's not a faithful person.
Yeah.
And I like that. But the tennis match, the ending tennis match, just phenomenal. That's really where the cinematography just jumps up to another level for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed the tennis match. Did not like the ending.
Interesting. The embrace.
Yes. So the tension build was great and everything else was phenomenal. I didn't like it. It built up to something that I guess it wasn't satisfying for me. It was not a satisfying ending for me. Because what would have been really cool, really crazy, was if one of them won. I think it was
what happens with that.
Yeah, I think the movie brought us to wanting Art to beat Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wanted the audience to cheer on Art, but it would have been cool if Patrick actually beat Art in what actually happened, kind of thing.
I think it's implied that Patrick wins because again, you can't just jump over the net mid-point.
But they weren't at match point at that point.
I know, but
it was still tied.
I think that's the point. Is Art gave up that point to embrace Patrick, essentially. Because I think that the movie made a point to show after Patrick showed Art that he had sex with Tashi, Art does it right back and he smiles at him. Which, first off, Art, you're a liar. You clearly did not have sex with Tashi that night. You tried. She tried. You were not game. But the smirks were all right, you dog, I see you. I think that was the first time, that was okay, I'm not going to let this friendship be ruined. Or, I'm going to give this friendship another shot. That was my interpretation
realistically, I think these are the three of them are incredibly intense, fiery, athletic, people. They have a lot of that burning inside them. And that, I like the ending of him jumping over the net and embracing, because you can see that's their emotions are there now. They're out. Mm-hmm. And Art and Patrick are finally together, and Tashi loves it. And immediately after it went to black, they went back to the hotel room and fucked each other. There was a threesome going on.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. That how did you say the writer's name? Kurtzik?
Karitzkis, I think. Justin Karitzkis.
He had a quote, and I'm trying to find it now, about the reality of a love triangle is it's not just two people to point A. There's also a connection between them two, that kind of romance, even if it's not romantic or sexual. There is that relationship between them that borders on romantic. And I think that ending was a good way of showing that side of it too. That, the sauna scene, obviously when they were younger scenes. I think that was a good way to establish that relationship between Art and Patrick.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to? Let's give our ratings here. So what do we start with? We start with acting.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the acting was really good. I honestly didn't see a bad performance in the movie.
Even the small characters.
I didn't see a bad. Yeah, that's true. I didn't see a bad performance. There was just a couple instances that I was like, on. But yeah, it wasn't bad.
All right, so let's go scores for that. For me, acting is like a 4.5 out of 5.
I give it a 5.
I give it a 4 out of 5.
All right. Story concept. I loved it. Incredibly unique.
Yeah, it was very different than like a fictional kind of tennis. It wasn't like a biopic or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
To that point, I feel like whenever a movie tries to do like the love triangle angle, they never show the two people competing for the one person's attention. They never showed their relationship that much. Maybe like a couple scenes of them being friends, but this, I love how they developed every single relationship. And then obviously, like, I love tennis, and using that as a backdrop for this love triangle is perfect.
Yep. Agreed. Ratings, what do we got?
Another 5.
4 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 5. Visuals.
Another 5 for me.
Visuals were really good, but they were inflated a lot by the intercut tennis scenes.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just said I agree.
Oh, you sounded like you were going. It's like I agree. No, I mean it was well shot. You know, I didn't feel like there was anything out of place, but I also feel like, you know, if it weren't for the incredible tennis scenes, it wouldn't have been as memorable. So I'm going with a flat 4.
Yeah.
I'm also going with a 4.
That's a 5. Because even scenes that weren't tense, like the scene of like Tashi and Patrick out by his car, like with the lighting, the wind, I thought that just looked really cool. Even though it was like a fucking tornado out. Comically large amounts
There's
of like,
a lot of tornadoes.
New Rochelle.
Yeah.
They always do the trope of paper just flying around. Like, why is there so much paper out?
Yep. Apparently everywhere in every movie just has so much paper lying around. It's like there's some newsboy. It's like, oh, not again! I lost the paper
It's
again.
not even like newspaper. It's like loose leaf paper. It's like, shit, my printer. I was printing out blank pieces of paper, and they all were just going out my window.
I just bought this brand new thing of 1,000 sheets of blank paper. What am I to do now?
Oh no, 6 reams of paper just fell out of my truck.
I'm a paper delivery boy. What am I supposed to do?
Man, you're really in the newsies time.
All right, writing. Apparently. Writing was good. I liked it a lot. Nothing too incredibly like out there to complain about. This was a blacklist script, which I always have a little bit of a soft spot for. I like those kind of scripts that get on that list and then get made. So it was cool to see that. I mean, there was nothing that made it like super stand out, but there was nothing that made it like bad either. So I'm giving it like a 3.5. It was good.
I think especially it's good coming off of the Phantom Menace, where we saw what bad writing can do for performances. Even small characters, the tennis court judge who is Zendaya's brother and agent, fun fact, the gay couple at the motel and the motel worker, a lot of them, they don't have big parts. You could not tell that they were actors. It felt like they were just people doing their normal life. I was a big fan of it, again, because maybe it was because I was coming off that atrocity.
Yeah.
For writing for me, I think this is where it lacked the most, in my opinion. I just really could not get behind all the time jumps in this movie. I don't mind time jumps and stuff like that, but when you overuse it like this, it gets confusing. I was confused for probably the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. The score was not great. The score was fine. I love good techno music. It did not do well with the movie, besides the tennis scenes. And then I wasn't really satisfied with the ending, so I gave it a 3 out of 5.
I feel like if instead of they cut back to the present day, if they just cut back to the tennis match itself and only the tennis match, I think it would be a bit more cohesive for.
I can get behind that
because I also do.
No,
I do love that each set that was won by like Art and Patrick showed them winning like their personal battle in real life too. Like when Patrick wins the first set, he has Tashi. He's kind of like on top. When when Art wins, that's when he wins over Tashi. And we're almost done with that. I'm almost done saying their names. That's when he's winning. And then when we get to the end, it's like, nope, they're both kind of winning. And they're both kind of losing.
It's a good way to sum it up.
I give it 5.
Enjoyment. So overall enjoyment. This is our overall score for the movie. For me, I liked it a lot. There's things about it. I think it was a little too time jumpy, like Sam mentioned. The score was out of place in places, but I enjoyed it a lot, especially when I was able to remove myself from the actual ending and how my personal feelings of it. So I gave it a 4.
Interesting.
Who's
I'll
next?
go next. I like this movie a lot.
Okay.
Some would say I loved it.
Some might say.
This guy would say he loved it. I was a big fan. The only things that I would say that I just didn't like are the score would come in too hard sometimes and like you couldn't hear what someone was saying. And 2, especially in that last scene, way too many just like long shots on someone. Or not just like slow-mo shots of like Patrick like kind of loading himself up, and you could tell like he's deep in thought. Doesn't need to be 10 seconds. That's it though. I really loved every other aspect of it. I loved the score, loved the way it was shot, I loved the story of it, loved the big 3, Faist, Zendaya, and O'Connor a lot. I'm giving this a 5. This is probably my second favorite movie of the year.
Wow.
And that makes that one the first 5 on our review list.
Yeah, that is the first 5 on our board.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I didn't like this movie as much as Aaron and Connor did. I still enjoyed it. I still had a good time. The tension was built very well with everything. I already said my piece on what I didn't like about the movie. But I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5. Oh.
Hold, please. We're losing it.
You made me write it in Madam Web as a 3.5.
All right, we're a mess.
Okay.
We're good. We're good now.
No, it was a 1. It was a straight 1.
Was it a 1? Okay.
Yes, it was, because it was a 0.83. All right, so that means officially Challengers places it at number 2,
tied for 2
on our list of movies that we've reviewed, tied for second with Scream. and just behind another Luca film, Call Me by Your Name. So obviously we're fairly big Luca Guadagnino film fans, with an average 4.17 from us. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode.
No, I was gonna say it's.
Do we have?
Well, I do have my sticky note, but I was gonna say it's funny looking at our totals. Scream is third. You were higher on Scream than I was. Followed.
Yeah, I'm shocked about that.
Followed by Halloween 2018, which again you were higher on than me.
Look, man, I like some horror.
I like the bloody ones with knives.
Apparently,
Are you a horror whore?
I'm a horror fan.
All right.
Cut that.
No, never. All right, well, that's gonna do it for this episode. If you like what you listen to, leave a rating, subscribe, follow us on your favorite podcast platform, all that fun stuff. It really helps us out. You can follow us on Twitter at FilmboxPod for other stuff. Also follow, I don't know about you guys, I've been trying to tweet a little bit more from my personal account at Aaron Souza. You can follow me there as well if you want. And also you can go to our website, pressplaymag.com, for reviews and stuff like that. You could have seen my thoughts on Challengers before we recorded this episode, because I wrote the review for it. And other stuff like that. Also follow our Letterboxd; those are in the description. And you can, see what we watch. Follow up with all of Connor's 18 million movies that he watches.
What are you trying to say there?
Sorry, I'm just going,
today,
man.
Junior.
All right. Okay, here we go. This is a good time for this.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yep, that's how I feel about me right
Watch
now.
Audacity not pick any of that up.
Follow us on Letterboxd. Yeah, no, can you imagine? No, you can follow us on Letterboxd there. And then before we wrap, Connor, we got to do the movies that you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings is not on there anymore, so we need another new one.
Yeah.
A new franchise that you need us to see.
We can decide on that later, but pick a number 1 through 5.
4.
1.
Okay, I'm doing. This one had a theme to a Studio Ghibli theme.
Ooh.
So I shall be watching Howl's Moving Castle and Kiki's Delivery
Oh,
Service.
good movie.
Nice. What were the other ones on the list?
My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, and Ponyo.
Nice. Cool. Well, I'll be excited to hear your thoughts on the next episode. Actually, probably 2 episodes from now, when you get back from vacation.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that said, that'll do it for this episode of the Filmbox Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Peace.